Story 1. As it seems, the genie is determined to ruin any wish I make for personal gain. I would wish for the genie's freedom in hopes that he would be motivated to do something genuinely kind for me afterward, or at the very least, not harm me in the process. Story 2. I want to be a main character in The Office for all 9 seasons. Story 3. The ability and understanding to use and create magic like him is not something I would consider a drawback. Story 4. I wish that my purse would always have at least $1 in it. Every time I remove the last dollar from my purse, a perfectly safe new $1 coin from the country I am located in would appear in the coin compartment of my purse at 0 velocity relative to the purse to prevent the coin from appearing at a dangerous speed. The coin would also be at the same temperature as the interior of my purse to prevent a superheated or superchilled coin from appearing. Removing the last dollar would require a conscious but trivial effort to avoid accidental spills. Story 5. I wish the Douchebag Genie, as set forth by user WeakSquare, to be subject to third-party arbitration for any and all wishes granted before, during, or after this wish. Arbitration may be triggered by an official complaint filed by the wish maker of the individual wish by using the phrase, "I demand arbitration." For my wish from the Douchebag Genie, in the wishmaker's preferred language and method of communication, the arbitration will be conducted by a third-party group of 5 to 9 intelligent, sentient beings whose presence, demeanor, and existence pose no threat to sentient life. These beings must have no previous knowledge of or contact with either the wishmaker or the Douchebag Genie. The arbitration will take place at a time and location chosen by the wishmaker and will last no longer than 8 hours as measured by the wishmaker, with breaks decided by the wishmaker. This process may be repeated for a total of no more than 7 Earth days. After arbitration, the wishmaker and the Douchebag Genie must adhere to the majority decision of the third-party group. This decision may include revocation or amendment of the original wish, replacement of the wish, granting an additional wish, or other solutions proposed by the third-party group. Story 6. I wish I were a shapeshifter who could change into any form at will, real or imagined, painlessly and gain the abilities of whatever I shapeshifted into. Story 7. I wish I never have an asthma attack or any lung illness ever again. Story 8. I wish that by my own will, I could cause others to be unable to see me, without any harm to myself, and also cause them to see me again without any harm to myself. Story 9. I wish for a turkey sandwich on rye bread with lettuce and mustard. I do not want any spoiled turkey. I do not want to turn into a turkey myself, and I do not want any other strange surprises. Do you understand? Story 10. I wish I could have 2 more wishes from the genie that grants this wish. Story 11. Fulfill my lifelong dream of being turned into root beer. Story 12. I wish the rude person was my best friend, so we could laugh at his unpleasant behavior together. Story 13. To have and maintain the fitness and ability I had in my body when I was 22 until I die. Story 14. The working lamp of a genie who is not unpleasant and will grant me 3 wishes. Story 15. I wish the unpleasant genie had 2 openings on his face. Best case, the genie now defecates from his face. Worst case, 2 extremely unpleasant people are now sitting on his face. At least it is momentarily amusing, and nobody dies, especially me. Story 16. I wish the genie was freed from his prison but bound to wander the planet Earth for all time in the form of an adult human. When freed, the genie shall be granted a psychic, empathic sense. They shall feel all the pain and suffering of every person on the planet Earth. This pain will strike them as both mental and physical anguish, but their mind and body shall be just strong enough to endure it intact. The genie will have their reality-warping powers, but to a very restricted degree. They can only use their powers to directly help alleviate suffering, and its use must be seen as good under a utilitarian or modern deontological moral system. The genie will be immortal with normal human durability. If seemingly killed or permanently trapped, the genie will regenerate or teleport alive and safe. They will only be freed and allowed to die if they learn the true meaning of love, or if the Earth is destroyed naturally when the sun goes supernova. Story 17. I wish that the entire world would explode into a 10,000 degrees Celsius fireball that tears it into a billion trillion pieces right now. Story 18. The next time I play the European lottery, the ticket that I purchase to play will be the one and only winner of the jackpot. The ticket itself is correctly and perfectly printed with the winning numbers and is impervious to further alterations or damage. Story 19. I wish for the power to give people I do not like diarrhea every time they talk to a girl. Story 20. I wish I could harm people by exposing their internet history. Story 21. I want to die right now and do not want to be reincarnated. Story 22. I wish that the next person's wish causes them even more trouble, and the genie tells me about it. It is too risky to do anything else, and the genie gets to have more fun, so this might work. Story 23. I wish for my index finger to expel a violent shock that causes death to those over whom I have passed judgment, and I may use my new power at my discretion. Story 24. I wish that Bill Gates, of sound body and sound mind, transfers $1 billion of his own money to me with no regrets or backlash from his family, friends, internet, or anyone else. Story 25. Make me a hot dog with everything. Edit my most upvoted Reddit comment. I would like to thank Robin Williams. Story 26. I wish for a clean 50 million United States dollars in my own personal checking account. Story 27. One standard United States size chart extra large t-shirt with a screen printed image of Whitney Houston performing I Want to Dance with Somebody live in concert from her 1991 I'm Your Baby Tonight world tour. Story 28. I wish to have a debit card in my legal name that will have the correct amount of money I require in the correct currency when I purchase something and has an expiration date set 100 years in the future based on the Gregorian calendar. Story 29. The ability to freeze time for 2 hours every day. I should be able to move through space and interact with objects normally. The laws of physics should work in a way that allows me to go about my business as usual. Story 30. I wish to graduate from the Mechanical Engineering School in May 2019 from my current university with a grade point average of 3.2. Story 31. I will be able to transform my body at will after saying the words, Hungalow Bungalow, at any time. It will not have any side effects that I did not specifically think of, and I can use my mind to achieve any shape, condition, or material buildup I wish for, including but not limited to height, weight, and muscle mass. Changes, ability to fly, cure of depression, unlimited mental energy, no need for sleep, fingernails of 24-karat gold, and changing learning ability both up and down. Any of these things and more will only change if I specifically request them during a Hungalow Bungalow session, which always ends after I say Marine Marana. Also, I cannot get acquired immune deficiency syndrome, gonorrhea, or herpes. Story 32. I wish Goku was confirmed as a playable character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Story 33. I wish I had one 2001 Nissan Skyline GTR in mint condition in my parking lot. It has no physical or mechanical damage, is 100% unmodified, and I have the key to the vehicle. Also, the owner's mother would be present during delivery until a full inspection is completed. If the owner does anything I find unsatisfactory, there would be serious consequences. The vehicle is not a toy. Story 34. Wow, you are a genie? Like for real? Jesus. Forgive me. Oh no. Story 35. I wish for what the average American adult would expect when they wish for 1 billion United States dollars to be deposited into my bank account. Story 36. I wish for you to make this same offer to every member of Congress. Story 37. I wish that Wyoming would disappear from the face of the earth and be removed from everyone's memories, so no one recognizes its disappearance. Story 38. I wish for people who mix up your and you are to have whatever they are talking about applied to them, just because it would be funny. Edit. Pointing out the intentional error. Story 39. I want my own private island complete with an airfield and a well-maintained mansion. Story 40. I would wish for the ability to watch the genie grant wishes to every future wisher, just so I could watch them suffer. Story 41. For the genie not to misinterpret any wishes he grants in the past, present, or future. This wish is not limited to me. Story 42. I would wish for a big orange head. Story 43. A bag of infinite holding weighing 3 pounds no matter its contents. Any item I attempt to place inside enters without issue. Anyone else who tries to search it is compelled to use only their hand and immediately finds a mousetrap inside. As long as I place the item inside, I can retrieve it without issue. The objects do not interact in this interior space and are preserved in their immediate state indefinitely while inside the bag. My body cannot be contained by the bag, but I can insert and retrieve objects from it. When passing through any bag scanner, it shows only a single mousetrap. If anyone steals the bag, it appears beside me when I wake up the next day in perfect condition. The bag is impervious to damage and wear. Its design is simple black fabric to which I am not allergic. Any attempts to intentionally damage the bag backfire in comedic and cartoonish ways, such as a sword drooping before it can cut the bag. There are no consequences to owning the bag, nor are there any others like it in existence. The troublesome genie must place himself inside the bag as the wish is completed. Troublesome genie, if you are a buddy, think of all the travel and mischief we could have. We could get liquor into every venue, smuggle items, and travel the world together. We could even start a magic show or run a con, getting paid to grant wishes in typical genie style. Be difficult and enjoy permanent suspended existence inside an impossible space, which I personally say is worse than death. Story 44. Every human who is alive from the moment the wish is granted, and all humans who will be born until the universe ends 10 trillion years later, as defined in the Gregorian calendar, will be cured of all diseases and will never be sick again. The diseases will not transfer to other organisms or objects. Story 45. I wish for the good health of my Pomeranian, Madame Jolie. Story 46. I wish for pure omnipotence and for the genie to be my best friend. Story 47. I wish my throat were as sore as it was at 8 a.m. last Monday. I will get into trouble if I ask for something major, so I may as well just get rid of this sore throat. Story 48. I want a bone apple tea and just wait for magic to happen. Story 49. The ability to decide whether to win or lose any bet or wager by consciously choosing the outcome at the time of placing the bet. Story 50. Telekinesis. Even if you make telekinesis difficult for me, it is still kind of cool. Specifically, I want to be able to levitate, move, and manipulate objects of any size with my mind through direct concentration. Story 51. A portal that dispenses money at lethal or non-lethal speeds depending on my choice. Infinite money, and it can be opened or closed instantly by my mental choice, and only by my mental choice while I am awake and of sound mind. Story 52. I wish I spent $1 million on cars. Then I would probably end up with a bunch of poor quality cars that would last me a while. Story 53. I wish to no longer age and be immune to disease and frailty at the cost of sacrificing a member of my family every generation. Story 54. I wish for the letter G in the English language to always be replaced with the letter P in the English language. Story 55. I wish for $1 trillion of United States currency to be inserted into my bank account without breaking any laws, current or otherwise. This is to be the exact value, and any costs that lower the exact value must be waived or neglected. This money must be credited to me and me only. No other parameters must be enacted, directly or indirectly, due to my wish. Only the exact stated wish applies to the parties involved who enact said wish. Any detrimental effects after the contract has been enacted must be reversed. In the event of breach of contract in any way, the genie is to grant the wisher any wish they might have with no malicious intentions, hereby referred to as the standard genie. By granting any wish, this contract is reforged and subject to change by the wisher at any time he or she chooses. By granting this wish, you accept this contract and all its clauses listed below, which are non-reversible and cannot be breached by either party. Clause 1. The wish is to be granted in full amount. Anything that depreciates the value intended within the wish must be compensated for or borne by the grantor of the wish. If this is not possible, the grantor of the wish is obliged to waive any such costs. B. The wish must be granted exactly as intended, considering the intent of the wish rather than implicit wording. For example, a wish for a hot dog cannot be misconstrued as 1. A poisoned hot dog. 2. A dog made of molten lava. 3. Any other misconstruction of the wish's intention. Any ill effects caused by the granteur of the wish, whether direct or indirect, malicious or otherwise, must be borne by the granteur. The wisher reserves the right to reverse or alter the wish in this scenario. D. This contract, if ever in need of approval, must be given the highest priority due to the rarity of such a contract. Clause 2. The granted wishes must not have any effect unintended by the wisher. The wisher reserves the right to deem any unfavorable effect unintended and reverse it or make the wish granteur bear the effect. B. Granted wishes must include all positive effects assumed by the wisher, including but not limited to 1. Complete legality with no further actions required of the wisher. 2. No deception or falsehoods. 3. No directly related negative effects, such as taxation. C. Granted wishes must be granted only to the wisher exactly. No clones or duplicates of any kind are applicable. The wish must be granted in the same universe as the wisher. D. General active standards apply when the wisher is unable to judge an effect. Until the matter is resolved, the wisher must have full access to their state of mind unless previously deemed mentally unfit. Any disability incurred after must be temporarily reversed. General active standards include but are not limited to 1. Loss of brain function. 2. Loss of vocal function. 3. Inability to give counsel for any reason. Clause 3. The counsel deciding what is considered detrimental is comprised solely of the wisher. The wisher holds all rights to change their wish should any substandard practice occur, which will be solely judged by the wisher. Contract Final Clause. This contract is protected under national, international, intergalactic, interdimensional, and interreality law as agreed upon by the Merit Council listed under the Pandimensional Act of Good Faith and Yield. You accept this contract as an entity separate from any system of slavery, employment, or ownership. By granting this wish, you accept this contract, which is non-reversible and cannot be breached by either party. Story 56. I'm gonna make the same wish I would give a regular genie because that is how much I need it. Turn me into a girl, friend. Story 57. I wish I were a little bit taller, a basketball player, had a girl who looked good that I could call, had a rabbit in a hat with a bat, and had a '64 Impala. Story 58. Man, it's like no one here has ever read the wish spell. I wish that from now on all wishes must be made according to the wish spell, as if under the effects of a haze starting the moment they say, I wish. There you go, genie. It's not your fault no one bothered to learn the rules. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.